So I'm going to be doing my game critique on Lord of the Rings Online, or more commonly known as LotRO. It's older than some MMOs. It was made in 2007. It still looks nice. It looks pretty nice though. I mean, not as clean as others. But let's go ahead and make a new character just to see the character creation. You can be a man, high elf, dwarf, hobbit, elf, or Bjorning, although you have to purchase the high elf. And Bjorning, as much as I love it, it's advanced difficulty, so you probably shouldn't play it outright. So I chose to go with just a hobbit, standard hobbit, and the classes are basically, they follow the same pattern as other MMOs. They're just called something different. Burglar, for example, would be like a rogue, so I went with a burglar. They're sneaky, they're fast, and you can make female as well, although you can't do that with dwarf because naturally you haven't seen any female dwarves in Lord of the Rings. But let's go to continue so you can see what the creation is like. You can change their face shape, their hair. I mean, it's a little weird, but you know, maybe at a distance it looks better, but you could also change their eyebrows, their mouth, little details such as moles, scars, freckles. You could even make them look really, really old. You really only have a green to blue spectrum here, so you can't make brown, which might just be a trait of the Hobbit race, and this is basically as dark as you can go in the game, which I find a little disappointing. I know there are no black characters in LotRO, or rather Lord of the Rings, but in the newest Lord of the Rings game there is a black character. They just haven't updated LotRO or seen the need to do that to include darker skin colors. You could also do their body type. They could be really bottom heavy or really top heavy. And there's this origin pane over here, and I thought it really added to the flavor of the world. You know, you can look at the flavor text of the races of hobbits and where they come from. Makes you feel more connected to the world, so let's go back, exit creation, yeah. So I'm a level 7 Hobbit Burglar, and I'm going to enter Middle-earth. And while this loads, I'll tell you a little bit about this cool feature in Lord of the Rings. It only happened to me once, and it might be because I'm only level 7, but you get to sleep in a bedroll at one point, and Galadriel visits you in your dreams, and she tells you a little about the future, and cool cutscenes happen, and you get to see references to the actual fellowship, and it just makes you feel more connected to the world as a whole. So you see right now I'm basically in, oh, okay, that grass is floating. I am in, a bog. It's pretty rainy. I like the fact that it had weather. I didn't realize it had weather until I logged in today, to do this review, critique. But as you can see, there is a lot of vegetation around, and while I'd be all for vegetation, it's really difficult to see myself in it, especially if there's, you know, combat taking place. But, you know, I'd be all for it if, you know, it concealed you from enemies. But it doesn't. NPCs can see right through the vegetation. You know, it could get a little confusing. Also, let's check out the map. Alright, I'm currently right here, and I'm in the Shire. You can see the little rings on areas basically signify the missions, the location quests I have to go to complete are. And you can actually change the colors of the quests and the rings, which I thought was pretty cool, although I wish they were more distinct in this map because you can't really easily see them. Also, in this little mini-map, that little arrow you see, with like a little arrow going out of a ring, basically points you in the direction of a quest you're supposed to be completing. I wish, like, I could just zoom out a bit, because sometimes it's not clear in the direction I'm supposed to be going to complete the missions, but a little cool feature of this little map is the red dots. You can see enemies. They represent enemies, and they're moving in real time. I don't know if that's just a feature of the burglar, but I thought it was pretty cool and useful, so I could like avoid them as much as I want. Also, something I didn't realize, apparently my character has visible breath. That's a pretty cool feature. So let's go into combat. Get attention of this dwarf. Combat is pretty typical. You can't really see me that much, which just highlights the problem. So, you know, I'm a little overwhelmed with two guys here, so let me just show you something. I'm a burglar class, so I'm pretty speedy. I don't know if it's just because of my class, but I am pretty damn speedy, and if I want to get out of a situation, I can easily do it. I can just outrun enemies if I want to. Eventually, they'll stop chasing me, which I thought was pretty useful. Also, so there are alerts that give you tips about the game. They give you deeds, they give you little quests, basically hints. They're like mailed, and you can really only access it if you're near a mailbox, which are in towns. Either that, or you have to pay for premium access, and you can access the mailboxes, or like rather mail at any time, which I thought was a little annoying because mailboxes are few and far between. And it might have important information pertinent to like my location right now, so I'd have to run all the way back to another place just to like get information about where I was. I haven't had to encounter that yet, but hopefully that's not the case. But I guess I can't fault them too much for it because it really encourages people to pay for the game, so I mean naturally they want to make money. I get it. So yeah, that's the game, that's my critique. I don't have two sources yet, but I will eventually get two sources. So, any questions, concerns directed at me about this game would be welcome.